Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jerlene John, yesterday, 5th of February 2026, presented the government of Trinidad and Tobago's revitalization blueprint to representatives of the International Monetary Fund. Somehow, I believe the IMF is the one behind closed doors, pressuring the government to make a lot of decisions. The IMF a lot of the times always tells different nations to tax a nation out of poverty, and yet that never works. But anyhow, mission headed by Miss Anastasia Gushina, Deputy Chief, Caribbean Division 1, Western Hemisphere. The engagement outlined the government's approach to the country's revitalization and diversification strategy anchored in infrastructural renewal, enhanced competitiveness, and the creation of an enabling environment for sustained economic growth. Discussions also focused on the proposed labor force, financial models to be used to attract investors and investment opportunities. At peak rollout, the revitalization plan is projected to generate up to 72,000 jobs, drawing heavily on Trinidad and Tobago's skilled and semi-skilled local labor force. Here we have to remember the maintenance workers as well. But from what I've heard from Khadija Amin, they want to expand the program. So the program is designed to maximize the use of domestic talent to drive implementation while strengthening technical capacity across key sectors. Now, while I do support this in general, my response wasn't so friendly. I said, did the original blueprint include increasing every fee, fine possible under the rising sun? Did it include placing TNT's financial burden upon the backs of the citizens? How come this part of the blueprint wasn't mentioned in UNC's manifesto? And that is what I am concerned about. You cannot make promises to citizens. You cannot tell them that you're not going to place the financial burden upon their backs. You cannot say that you're going to reduce traffic fines because it's a form of tax that the PNM was using to generate revenue, and then turn around and double those fines instead. You have broken the trust of the people, Prime Minister Kamla Persad says. But as I've said in my other news report this morning on my other YouTube channel, nevertheless, in spite of this, the UNC government will definitely govern far better than the PNM when it pertains to developing the country, the infrastructure, the healthcare sector, the education sector, national security. So we know that. But the problem is the breaking of the trust of the people is why it is very likely that they will not be able to win again in 2030. And once again, it begs the question, is the IMF really behind all this, behind closed doors, and not just TANCU? But I still do believe that TANCU is a bad influence on the Prime Minister, along with Padarath and Roger Alexander. The Honorable Dr. Lakram Bodo, Minister of Health, along with the Honorable Dr. Richard Sicharan, Minister in the Ministry of Health, and other Ministry of Health executive members, recently conducted a site visit to the location of the artificial limb fitment camp in Penal. This initiative, born out of a collaboration between the government of Trinidad and Tobago and the government of India, marks meaningful progress in delivering on a commitment to improve access to life-changing prosthetic services for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Minister Bodo is pleased with the headway being made as preparations continue toward bringing this important program to the community in the near future. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure remains committed to advancing one clean nation, with clean, well-maintained roadways that promote order, discipline, and national pride. Please extend that in the communities itself, not just the highways and the main roads. More than 1,800 workers recruited through the October 2025 National Recruitment Drive are helping to power this nationwide cleanup initiative, supporting the cleaning and maintenance of road and drainage infrastructure, vegetation management, and the beautification of our highways and overpasses. Of course, CPEP used to do that in the past, but I am the one that recommended closing down CPEP and Europe. I'm not saying that they took my recommendation, but I was definitely saying it. A lot of friends of mine have been saying that as well. There was no need for contractors, and now the government is doing the right thing. Remember, we all have a role to play in keeping our surroundings clean. Simple, responsible action in waste disposal helps sustain the progress being made every day. Minister of Labor and Manpower Planning in Guyana, Kioma Griffith, on Wednesday highlighted Budget 2026 as a people-centered blueprint designed to ensure that the country's growth turns into tangible benefits for workers and communities across the entire country. The Irfan Ali administration continues to actually seek to serve all the peoples of Guyana, even those that support the opposition parties. The minister made this known while making his contribution to the national budget debates, during which he said that the theme, putting people first, reflects more than political messaging, but captures the core principles guiding the government's labor and social policies. Exactly. Actions speak louder than words. And there's a whole lot of action coming out from the Irfan Ali camp. The National Disaster Fund Committee in Jamaica, which has the critical responsibility of managing the National Disaster Fund and signing off on sums to be allocated for relief and other purposes in the wake of a natural disaster, has been non-functional people for the past 2 years. Alarm bells went off when the Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management requested $350 million Jamaican dollars for Hurricane Melissa relief efforts, only to discover that no committee had been appointed. Not the Irfan Ali, the Andrew Holness administration responsible for this? If so, please. But I did say in my other news report that I am quite impressed in his performance thus far in his third term. So let's hope all this will be resolved quickly. This is kind of sad news for me to hear. Pizza Hut plans to close 250 US restaurants in the first half of this year as its parent company considers a sale of the chain. Wow, boy. Pizza Hut, since as a child, I knew about that restaurant. Yum Brand said Wednesday it's targeting underperforming Pizza Hut restaurants in its system. Pizza Hut has more than 6,000 locations in the US. But if you're selling the chain or whatever, is it going to change its name and everything like that? I don't know. That's just something because of how since I was a child, I know about Pizza Hut. I mean, I love Mario's, most of all our local Mario's, but Pizza Hut and lovely tasting pizzas as well. Huh? Now for the interesting facts segment, Elon Musk has revealed an ambitious new vision for Tesla's humanoid robot, Optimus, that sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie, especially the movie that Will Smith acted in. Will Smith must be watching it now and saying, wow, the same movie I acted in looks as though it's coming to real life now. During a recent update, Musk suggested that robot utility goes far beyond simple factory tasks on Earth. He claims that Optimus could eventually be programmed to build copies of itself while stationed on other planets, effectively creating a self-sustaining robotic workforce to prepare for human arrival. We are in the end times, people, and hopefully this never comes to pass before Jesus Christ returns. This sounds so much like, you know, what is going to take place during the 7-year tribulation period. But nevertheless, quite an interesting fact. Closing off now with a travel segment, Hong Kong is a vibrant, high-density metropolis, blending futuristic skyscraper-packed urbanity with deep-rooted Chinese traditions and British colonial influences. What a lovely mixture. It is a premier destination for world-class dining, shopping, and iconic skyline views, balanced by surprising, lush, natural landscapes, hiking trails. I love hiking and sandy beaches. Take the Peak Tram to Victoria Peak for panoramic views or watch the daily Symphony of Lights show over Victoria Harbour. Experience world-renowned dim sum, fresh seafood, and street food that blends Cantonese and Western styles. Visit Hong Kong Disneyland or Ocean Park for family-friendly entertainment. Hike the Dragon's Back, visit the beaches in Sai Kung, or explore the fishing villages on Latanu Island. Definitely on my wish list of places that I would love to visit in the future. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all, in Jesus' name.